welcome to Letting Go with Aloha. You are in for a treat. You are going to meet my soul sister from down under. Her name is Sandy Davies. She's an author. Her anthology, The Power to Rise Above, is her project of the heart, and I was so blessed to be a part of it. She's also been a part of Courage and Confidence, an inspirational Australian business book, also Sacred Promise. She launched Happy Pause, a menopausal magic balm, which also has helped me with various skin conditions. She's a respected global speaker. If you're looking for a speaker, Sandy can talk about menopause, innovation, positive aging, suicide prevention, anti-bullying, and a lot more mental health topics. She writes blogs. She can talk about leadership development, team building, diversity and conclusion. And if you need a ghostwriter, Sandy's your girl. And here is Sandy.
Oh, good morning, Karen. And I hope that there's not too much noise in the background. I forgot about my grandfather's clock.
It's perfect. It's a sign that we're starting at the right time.
Exactly.
So let's first dive into The Power to Rise, which has been life-changing for all of us involved in your book. Tell us more about it. What was the inspiration, and what did you learn from this personal journey?
Oh, well, yeah. So when we published The Power to Rise Above, initially when I started out, I thought it was going to be a book solely about anti-bullying. I was in my 50s and I was in a workplace with a horrific female bully. And she was very much like the bully I had experienced when I was 13. And she was leaving her workmates and subordinates with their mental health in tatters. And it was almost like a predatory game. And one day I actually happened to walk in just at that, horrible cataclysmic moment and talked it out with the workmate who had been experiencing bullying from her. And when I shared with her my experience of what had happened to me at 13, she said, "Bullshit, no way, you?" And it was like, the chasms of the heavens opened and I was like, oh my gosh, I have missed my calling. Because if people think that because I am so happy and radiant and full of joy in my 50s, I've never had any battles on the journey to get here, I'm doing everyone a disservice, because we have to share those difficult moments and those moments of overcoming and those things that have helped us renew our resilience and our fighting spirit, just to remind others that, you're not alone in an awful moment, and an awful moment isn't an awful life.
Oh, I love that. Very empowering. So how did it start? I mean, who did you decide to, how do you decide who's going to be a part of it,
Yeah, well, it started with 6 of us that had experienced the same bully. And at the start, I was thinking, it's all going to be people who have experienced that bully. The workplace wasn't a positive workplace. It was a bit of a toxic workplace. There were over 20 letters of complaint about this bully manager with no action. So it wasn't going to be a hard thing to try to source all authors who had experienced her bullying firsthand. But that was too narrow and myopic of a focus, because we weren't going to focus on her, the bully. We were going to focus on what it was that gave us the strength to get through it then in that moment. And it was all of that, I guess, that just kind of made it grow and grow and grow. And, we have this amazing digital sisterhood, especially with that tight trio of you and me. And well, it's not actually a trio. It's one of us and another 3. So I guess it's a quadrant. But it's you and me and Deslyn Hawkius from Healing with Aloha, and then the amazing Sarah Cliver and her incredible series of children's books of You Are a Treasure and Treasures Are Us. And it was, I think, probably realizing that there was something magic between the 4 of us that was the biggest catalyst for making me realize that The Power to Rise Above had to be bigger. And I knew the first time Des and I talked about her sister that we had to have Des write a story. And then it kind of grew. It grew to I remember you meditating on your story and then just pouring out this magic that I still am adamant your story in The Power to Rise Above, we know has saved one life and we know it will save many more. Your story to me in many ways feels like the whole purpose for why this book was born.
Wow. And here I was thinking it had to be a story of bullying. And then when you have so many global, right? All of us global authors sharing a story where we built resilience. So can you give just a little snapshot of your, like what your chapter, you're talking about the workplace. How did that pan out when you wrote that experience?
Yeah, so well, my chapter, and there's probably 5 chapters similar to mine. So any parents that are dealing with their child, whether their child is in primary school, middle school, high school, they're dealing with their child being bullied and they're just really at a loss. Our stories are a great read for advice for your kids and advice for you, and just that ability to see the light beyond. Because I write about when I was 13 and encountered a horrific bully. And I had a coach that actually contributed to the bullying and made the bullying worse. And then when my mom tried to intervene, that same coach said, "Oh, no, 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 Mrs. Skelton, you just have to let girls be girls. They'll work it out." Well, they didn't work it out. It got worse. I had 8 months of a gang of girls beating me, leaving me bloodied by the end of every school day. And it wasn't until a high school coach found out about it and did a swap with a middle school teacher and came to the middle school for the last term. And he had that bullying sorted, nipped in the bud, and stopped within 2 weeks. So, a proactive coach at the start, it could have been stopped straight away. And it took someone else coming in. And that's that thing, I guess. My message is, you know, if the opportunity arises, be that coach that makes a difference. If the opportunity rises for yourself, be your own cheerleader and be your
Mhm.
own advocate. It's so important. And then once you have advocated for yourself, be a cheerleader for others, and not just be a cheerleader, but step in and be that coach and bring it to a close.
Wow, beautiful words and a great reminder, because I think sometimes we believe, oh, well, the school will take care of it or someone else will take care of it. And then it just continues. There's so much of that going on in Hawaii, I mean, globally. And it is a scary, stressful, frustrating situation to be in. So, I mean, what made you, I mean, how did you handle that? 8 months is torture.
It was. And my brother kept encouraging me not to fight back with my fists. And I am so glad that he did, because I always look back now to the strength that I garnered there, and I feel like it's been a beacon for most of my life. But one of the things I think, if you are in that position, like for me, I was just a kid, but
Hmm.
I went to teachers who did nothing. I went to the school counselor who did nothing. I went to the principal who did nothing. The coach had just, and the thing is, I think you still just have to keep telling your story, because you will find someone that isn't afraid of the bully, that will take action and make a positive resolution happen. For me, there was a school secretary that is the person who intervened and made sure the other coach knew about it. And then they managed to work their magic with doing the swapperoonie of timetables. I also had an assistant pastor that was
Mm.
amazing. So it's that thing, just, keep asking. And for my mom was patronized and patted and sort of there, and she didn't stop using her voice either. So I guess that's the biggest message when people are facing it now is you don't deserve it. There is a solution. It might be changing a school. It might just be getting the right advocates within that school to take action, but there is always a path out and a path beyond.
Wow, a path, right? A path beyond. Because I think sometimes you just feel like, well, this is what it is. I have some students, Miss Karen, it just happens every single day. You don't understand. There's nothing we can do. This happens every day. But you're saying to just never give up, right? And sometimes the emails aren't answered, just like what you went through. The school doesn't do anything. And so sometimes the parents almost give the go ahead to engage in, physical, it is violence, right? Because they don't
Yeah.
know what else to do. But let's take a short break. And when we come back, Sandy will talk about Happy Paws, how it changed just so many lives. So be back in a bit.
Can't wait.
Mafe Management is a company dedicated to empowering individuals and businesses in PR and marketing, social media management, online show and podcast production, business consulting, graphic design, photography and videography, workshops and classes, events management, personality development, logo creation, illustrations, and animation. In working together to turn their dreams into reality. Get one step closer to elevating yourself and your business by contacting hello@mafemanagement.com. Let us empower you.
Speaking of empowering, how has Happy Paws empowered women? And how did that idea just magically, pop into your head? Because that is such an innovative creation.
Yeah, well, the whole origin of Happy Paws was my own battle with menopause and me not being able to find a doctor that would take it seriously or a pharmacist that would take it seriously. And it was literally just desperation that drove my innovation. So out of desperation, I went back to my chemistry roots from high school and early college and donned a lab coat again for the first time in 30 years. And we hit the mother load. I had a few disasters, a few failures with ingredients along the way, and that was actually a great reminder because for me, my premise from the start was I wanted something preservative free, largely chemical free, vegan friendly, and I wanted it simple. I wanted it so simple that it would work with even the most complicated skin problems because I had such sensitive skin from living in the tropics. I needed something very, very friendly to sensitive skin. And when I started asking a few biologists and engineers for input, it just got complicated and it got so much more layered. So I tried with all these additional ingredients and complications because of my friends that were experts in the field and the scientists that I consulted. And then they were just absolute disasters. And it was that great reminder to trust your gut, always stick with your first instinct, and sometimes cast away the noise. Because when I then just said, oh, this is all too much, and went back to just what I thought initially was going to work, it was the home run.
Wow.
So it's just that great reminder to don't always think you have to have so much specialist knowledge from outside that it drowns you and drowns your original vision, because sometimes your original vision is the magic. And that was, the proof was in the pudding, because I had so many women reach out and share to me that Jenna Unitary Moisturizing Balm was life-changing for them. And dryness is something that over 80% of us deal with over the age of 40, and it's ongoing through peri and postmenopause. And just knowing that I made that difference, even though unfortunately with a number of health complications and long COVID and other things, we ended up pausing with Happy Paws and just didn't get it to that next level. I'm still thankful that we had that aha moment and we're able to make a difference for others along the way.
So inspirational. Like you said, you have that moment, and not to feel that it was, I'm sure it was mixed feelings, because it's almost like the end of an era or phase, but knowing the hidden gift. What do you think the hidden gift was pausing Happy Paws?
I think that the hidden gift is just remembering that you can simply be, and there is so much power in being. And I think whenever we get into that business mode, it's just go 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 go, and we forget that we can stop, and we can be still, and we can breathe, and we still have enormous amounts to give to others and to create a ripple effect without the go, go, go of business. So it doesn't always have to be a business focus or a business pace. Sometimes we can just sit and be in the moment. And when we find that presence of space, it's often empowering to others as well, to allow them to know that they too can be. And that is enough.
I love that. That is enough. I think if we make that a priority, what do you think, to children who are so stressed out, we were talking about earlier, to achieve and to make sure that you do the extra credit and make sure, I know my 7-year-old, that they get that gold star, or they might have to stay in for a recess. I mean, what advice would you give parents who are just starting out at, their 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old? And it's amazing that, I mean, I was there once, and as an educator, you forget that it is not about grades at all. How do we send that message? Because, in the academic realm, the people who get the high grades are the ones that get highlighted and focused on. It's like, oh my gosh, you got the 4.0, 4.2, how do we feel that with that?
Yeah, we've got to remember to celebrate the knowledge acquisition.
Ooh.
And the achievement. And with our kids, even, we have to remember to celebrate some days. Oh, what did you learn today? Oh, that's really exciting. Let's celebrate that. And not always just celebrate a great mark on a spelling test or a great mark on homework. And I know we have recently shared experiences that we both had during university where we thought we were absolute failures. And it's quite hilarious now looking back, because we thought we were failures because we got a C.
Mm-hmm. Or the red marks.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, those marks don't matter. All that matters is the knowledge acquisition. And it doesn't matter whether you're getting C's or A's on your academic pursuits, because at the end, the degree is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? So you've got to live life as well as trying to gain that knowledge, because once you're beyond academia, all that matters is the final piece of paper, not any of the up and downs or pressures that we put ourselves on along the way.
Well, knowledge acquisition, I'm going to steal that term from you, because I think we forget when we have children in school. We just want the grades and the honor roll certificates, and we forget that decades from now, what do those certificates and accolades mean, right?
Exactly. And, for some reason, it just occurred to me now. So I don't know if maybe there's a parent out there that needs to hear this. But I remember when I was in high school, and the realization came to me that my dream of going to Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, was not going to happen. It was such a high fee school that even the scholarships that they could offer me didn't even put a drop in the bucket. And for me, that crushing thing of realizing that I had to let Southern Methodist go, I had to let Boston University go, and I had to let Berkeley go. I remember crying myself to sleep one night thinking that all my dreams were over. And I had a moment of feeling a few moments actually in the lead up to graduation, of feeling like a failure because I was going to go to Kansas State University, which was an open access university and a very, very low tuition. Mm-hmm. But it was what I could afford, and it was the opportunity that was there within my means. And it didn't take me too long to realize, maybe the third semester, that my friends that had family money to go to Harvard, my friends that had had the capacity to go to places like Guilford and NYU, they weren't having the same opportunities that were afforded to me at my open admissions university that was a state-funded university. And I think sometimes we get so consumed with the carrot of a big name university
Yes.
that we forget about all the opportunity that will come to our kids if they're not necessarily in a prestigious university, prestigious by other people's perception, I should say. When they go to a smaller or a lower tuition university, there will be so many more opportunities. If I hadn't gone to Kansas State University, I never, ever would have become a Rotary Fellow, which paved the way for me to do my master's degree at the University of New South Wales in Australia. All the successes that came after that, all because I went to an open admissions university with a low tuition and not the prestigious fancy carrot that I had thought was where I needed to be.
My dream was also Berkeley, and I just stayed home. Well, actually, I turned into depression after graduating high school. I decided, no, I don't want to go to college. The day before, Sandy, and I look back, and it is a roller coaster ride. And those who graduate, nothing against the Ivy Leagues, but it doesn't guarantee you. And sometimes the stress, we're learning now, the stress of being in the Ivy League environment can be debilitating because you are so pressured to keep continuing to climb that ladder of achievement, right? So in closing, what would you say is some advice for, a lot of our, I think Dessa's son is a junior, but, going into senior year, a lot of kids have graduated, and the pressure to choose the right school, the right major, the right career. Any words on that?
Absolutely. Don't stress if you don't know.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is so okay not to know. Our youngest was a late bloomer, and she did her trade in her early 30s, late 20s and early 30s. It's okay if you don't know. And don't put so much stress on yourself that you miss out on what in your heart you truly know you want to do. And it doesn't always have to be university. There are so many pathways now, and things like engineers. So many kids are still going out and going into an engineering stream at university, where if they had done a technical engineering course and done the work experience within a corporation, they would accelerate their career and accelerate their opportunities even 10 to 12 years faster than someone that's done an engineering degree in college, because they have the practical lived experience alongside the technical acquisition of skills.
My husband Thomas is he's given me permission to share this, but he was the only engineer at Spectrum without an engineering degree. And I think sometimes you do, like you said, you just happen to fall into a career path without the degree. But I love what you said, is the experiences, and then the company sees the potential and they don't even require the degree unless it's like the medical profession or something that requires it. Now people are realizing they want someone, not the 4.0s, but someone who has like people skills, someone who's willing to work hard and be a team player, right? Because it's not the 4.0, like I'm all about achieving, but maybe they're not really experienced in just EQ or just social skills, right?
Exactly. And there's just something about that acquisitional knowledge. Like Thomas will know the ins and outs of every operating system across the islands with Spectrum. And someone that comes in from a university from the mainland doesn't have that, and sometimes doesn't even have then that skill set to begin to build that situational knowledge.
Yeah, and just because it's really, really tough and you think I can't do it, I think what you just said, just trust your intuition and know that because it's not easy doesn't mean that it wasn't meant to be.
Exactly, 100%. And Yeah, just be open to the path ahead.
Ooh,
Don't force
open
it.
to the path ahead. Yeah, remember that. Anyone watching this, be open to the path ahead. Don't force it, because I think some of us, and I equate it to, like the little just forcing that round peg into that square, and you're like, I am going to, like, I'll shave it, I'll make it fit, or the puzzle pieces. When if you just trust, you will find the right piece, right? It might not be right away. I love that story about your daughter. I think so many 18-year-olds and mid-20s, they think, I need to know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And look at you with the happy pause, and then the authors, and then the public speaking, and what would you ever have guessed you would be doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely not. And that's the thing. Like, so every one of those stepping stones, even when you think something's a disaster or something hasn't gone right, it's your path, and it's your path to the better tomorrow. And all those pieces begin to then just fit together like a perfect puzzle when you reach the age where you have the opportunity to look back.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that's the beauty of, when you've reached our age and you think, you know what? Oh my gosh, we need to share our story to let others know, not to stress, and just play with the puzzle and just know that it'll happen. Where do people find you?
So the best place to find me is, well, of course, on LinkedIn. So you can find me, Sandra Skelton Davies, at LinkedIn, but the Power to Rise Above on Instagram, social media. Still a little bit of positive and pro-aging at happypause_menopause on social media as well. So take your pick.
So please reach out to Sandy. And I just really am so thankful that you took the time on a Sunday. It's Saturday here, and I just can't wait to share photos and videos of us this coming September. I will be in Australia for about 14 days and staying with Sandy. So stay tuned for that. And I'm sure we will be taking photos and videos, and I will definitely be with a koala.
Yes, we're absolutely having a photo of you holding a koala, 110%.
No matter what, that is my 60th birthday wish, so we're going to make it come true. Thank you so much, Sandy, and I look forward to connecting you soon. There you go, The Power to Rise Above, available on Amazon. Just and I think on your LinkedIn and the Instagram, right? It has like all the books.
Yeah.
The links
And
there to purchase. Yeah. So please do that.
And order direct from Karen or me if you'd like one of us to sign a copy. So yeah.
Yes, definitely, because I'll be getting some Power to Rise Above in person. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Just remember, your inner flame never extinguishes. So anyone going through a hard time, Karen's story, my story, Deslin's, Sarah's, each of our stories, it's all about how your inner flame never extinguishes.
Your inner flame never extinguishes. I love that. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye.